Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I am super excited to share with you guys yet another watch review. Now, this watch right here is one of the most unique, over-the-top watches that Invicta makes. And this is going to be a review of another Sea Hunter 3. Now, I gotta tell you, I refer a lot of people to eBay and to Amazon, and I can see all the purchases that are made through those links that I share with you guys in my description. And I gotta tell you, one of the most popular watches I think that I've referred is the Sea Hunter 3. And the Sea Hunter 3 is basically a name that I gave the standard Sea Hunter when they redesigned it, and they added a custom bezel on it. They've added, the bezel is more of a gear edge bezel, whereas the previous model had this kind of rubber ring around it, which I'm glad to see that they're not making a lot of those models anymore. I think the new redesign, the crown protector, is just an awesome improvement to the standard Sea Hunter. And you already had the Sea Hunter 1, with mid-size and standard size, or the large size, the full size we call it. And then they had some other ones come out which were still Sea Hunters but different. So it was very kind of confusing for people to figure out what this particular one was. And Invicta, a lot of times they give names to their watches that they'll call them Reserve, but then they call them something else, but then the watch doesn't actually say it. Perfect example is the Grand Octane. It's listed under Invicta Reserve, but nowhere on the watch does it say Grand Octane or Grand Arsenal. And depending on where you buy it, it's described as those two names. And so the Sea Hunter at least is labeled the Sea Hunter, but they don't really have a classification as far as which one it is. So sometimes they'll say Generation 2, but it's not really Generation 2 because they already had another generation that they came out with, whether that was before the full-size one or after. Nonetheless, there was two different Sea Hunters you can get previous to this. So I started calling this the Sea Hunter 3. And that's kind of what it stick to. The name is kind of stuck, and Invicta doesn't really call it that, but they still call it their standard Sea Hunter, but if you go looking on eBay, you'll find it under Sea Hunter 3. And so the one I want to share with you guys today is, again, this watch was over the top when I got it, just in stainless steel. Then I picked it up in gold, and they've made it in several different executions since then, and this one I just had to have. Now, if you've checked out my videos in the last couple weeks, and you watched a few of my most recent Invicta watch reviews, I did one with you guys that kind of came and went really quick, and I knew it was going to be released, and I picked it up for a great deal before it was sold out. And this one is exactly the same situation. And this one here, again, is the Sea Hunter 3 in the iridium finish. This is an all mirror polished iridium finish. And if you're unfamiliar with iridium, it's kind of like they treat the stainless steel with a coating, and I don't know if it's actually heat treated or what, but basically it takes on this iridescent rainbow kind of look. Definitely not a watch for everybody. You're either gonna love this watch or hate this watch. And if you want something completely over the top, then this is a watch for you. Now, again, I did a review of the Grand Octane or Grand Arsenal in this finish a couple weeks ago, and it's just an over-the-top watch, super unique. So when I saw this for the price that I got it for, I absolutely had to jump on it. I saw that it was available. I had to get it because this thing, I believe, is sold out right now. If it's not sold out, it's almost gone. I'll put links in the description where you hopefully can find one on eBay, but no guarantees on this. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you the watch, tell you a little bit about it, and then show you what it looks like on the wrist. Now, I'm already wearing it right here, but I'm going to get a little bit closer and show you some close-ups. Also, if you guys have followed me before, I'm so sorry about the lighting. Right now, just to let you guys know, I have a 100 LED lamp in front of me about 4 feet away. I have another 100 LED lamp in front of me about, I'd say 10 feet away. I have a LifeX bulb and a torchlight shining on the ceiling, another smart bulb and another lamp, and it's daylight out. And I have the camera that I'm using. It's a Canon HF R800, I believe, in low light mode. So guys, I don't know what else to do at this point. I'm doing the best I can with these videos, and I know it's a pain in the butt when you look at them and you want to see the great lighting. Even with this lighting right here, the watch is going to look different on video than if I had it under low lighting. So I'm going to figure it out eventually, guys. I'm not sure if it's my wall colors because I record in a room that's got like kind of a cream tan color. I don't know what it is. One guy posted today, "You're the only one on YouTube with this problem." I know, I'm sorry, but I'll get it figured out, man. I'm still going to bust out the videos, and I'm doing my best here. So let's check this watch out, okay? So I'm going to wheel on up a little closer for you here. All right, so here it is. Now this one is done, again, just like the Grand Octane that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. This one is done with the abalone face. On this watch, it's a little bit harder to see because you have this multi-step face on there where you have a lot of the white, and the parts of the chronograph are actually skeletonized and in front of the abalone. I gotta say, the only negative thing I really have to say about this watch is the fact that you can't really see the abalone as well as you could on the Grand Arsenal. But it is there, and it is subtle, and it still looks really nice. I think it would have been a little bit nicer if this had black accents on the face, but nonetheless, it's still a gorgeous watch. I kind of wish, I'll throw another thing out there, this would have been exceptional. I mean, this is already exceptional. I mean, just look at this color. And again, this is the biggest one Invicta makes. But this would have been even more exceptional if they just would have done it in a standard, maybe just a basic NH35 Seiko automatic movement with just a full abalone face, nothing but day of the month and time. But I don't know, Invicta doesn't seem to do that very much in their larger watches. They always use the Ronda movements, which is a great quartz movement, and it is a quartz watch, just to let you guys know. But you know, I really wish you could see that abalone, and it just doesn't pop as much as it does on the other one I have in the all black Grand Octane, or the other one I have in the iridescent abalone face as well. But nonetheless, it's still there, and you can still see it. And it's much more noticeable in person than it is on camera. Of course, you see this bezel they put on here. This is a redesigned bezel on the Sea Hunter 3. It's got this gear edge, huge improvement over the original Sea Hunter. It's hard to even find the original Sea Hunters anymore just because this is such an improvement. Then, of course, they've added this huge crown protector right on the side here. Massive timepiece. I mean, just a chunk of steel on your wrist. You have your function pushers and your crown, of course, under that crown protector. It is a unidirectional rotating bezel. You do have some lume on the bezel itself right here, at these markers right over here. And as far as the finish on the watch, you have, just like all the Sea Hunters do, unless you get one mirror polish, the classic Sea Hunter design is a satin finish on the sides of the links, mirror polishing down the center, and a satin finish or brush finish on the entire case. Again, Sea Hunter always uses that awesome exhibition back with that propeller. It is one of the nicest looking exhibition backs that I've ever seen on a watch, and they carry that theme over to the crown as well, as you can see that on the back of the crown. Double fold over clasp, or your standard, I shouldn't say double fold over, it's just your standard Invicta clasp with your lock right there. Invicta Sea Hunter logo on the back engraved in there, and the Invicta brand right on the fold over clasp. Just a chunk of a watch. If you haven't seen this watch before, definitely check out the other color combinations of this watch. I mean, you're either gonna love this watch or hate it, and you have to like the iridescent look. Now, I'm going to show you what the watch looks like on the wrist, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, of course. But I just want to touch base on a few things. You guys know that I'm always honest with you guys on a watch review, and you guys know I've never had really a complaint with any Invicta watch, and this is great. I mean, this is a great value for what I got this for. It's an exceptional timepiece. It's anybody who says that Invicta makes an inferior watch, again, I'm not saying you can compare it to a $10,000 watch. I'm not saying that. But this watch right here, if you were to pick this up and feel this in your hand, there's no way you could feel this and say anything negative about it. I just don't understand when some of you people, and not many, I'm just saying, but guys, my Invicta lovers, I always have to defend the brand because I'm not going to let somebody come on and just shoot their mouth off, making comments that they have no idea what they're talking about. Guys, I could see if I only had Invictas in my collection. I don't. I have Aquadive, I have Visser, I have Sterling, I have Seiko, I have Bulova, I have tons and tons of different brands, and I can tell you right now that this is the best valued brand, hands down, of any watch. It doesn't matter. With these, Aragon's a great one too. That's an Aragon and Invicta. I'm not telling you this is the world's best watch. I'm not telling you that this is a watch you may like. What I'm telling you is that no matter whether you want to get the big giant 58mm huge chunk of steel like this, or you want to wear your Pro Diver and your 47mm, there is no better value than Invicta in Aragon watches, and it's really going to come down to what you like the looks of. Hands down, you will not go anywhere and get a better value and get more for your money. And you know what the funny thing is anybody who comes on makes a negative comment about Invicta or some of these other brands, they obviously have never owned one. And I challenge them every time. Show me a better brand. Show me a better brand for the same amount of money. No way. Invicta, you can compare Invicta watches with brands that cost 3, 4, 5 times as much. Okay, plain and simple. Guys, if you're new to Invicta and you've heard this nonsense talk about them, and you're in the market for a watch, whether it's a big chunk of watch like this or it's one of the smaller pro divers or grand divers, again, there are watches out there like some of your pro divers that are cheaper, but you get them for 50, 60 bucks. I mean, I'm saying I think really the nicest, best quality, inexpensive watch for about 120 bucks that's automatic, Seiko NH35 movement is the Invicta Grand Diver. If you've never checked out a Grand Diver and you're skeptical, get one of those for the money, wear it to the mall, try to find a watch that gives you as much as they give you. Then, once you see that or go get a reserve model. You get this in your hand and you hold it, you're never going to have anything negative to say about Invicta ever again. Unless, of course, you're a watch snob. And I watched this one guy, he made a negative comment on the channel, just narrow-minded morons, made a negative comment on the channel, and, I don't post those, of course. It's only positive stuff on this channel. And he made that a comment about him. And then I watched his video and he was reviewing an Orient watch, which costs about $800. It's basically a Submariner homage watch. He's just ripping it apart. Man, go buy a Rolex then. I mean, it's just amazing to me that these people out there, you're never going to please the watch snobs. There are people out there who are like, if it's not Omega or if it's not Rolex, it's automatically garbage. And that's just a stupid, narrow-minded way of thinking, and you're never going to change it. And I don't really care to change that, but what I am here to tell you is that this is a great brand with exceptional quality, and the uniqueness, nobody can touch their uniqueness. I'm sorry. It's hands down. So now that I got that off my chest, let me just go ahead and tell you just a couple things about this watch that I will say a negative remark about. And very rarely will you hear me say that about anything that I review, because I always like to focus on the positive points and the good things. And this is definitely one that I'm keeping. I love this watch. But one thing I have to say, and I'm really confused on why they did it, is that when I got it, I noticed that the crown didn't screw down. And then I noticed that the function pushers, and again, I'm sure the haters will have a field day with this, but I don't care. I just want you guys to know, if you're an Invicta lover and you want to make this purchase of this watch and you already have the Sea Hunter, I just want to tell you that there isn't an issue. There is not an issue here. What they've done is that on this particular watch, probably to save money and bring this to you at a better value, the function pushers are no longer screw down, and neither is the crown. They're just push-pull. So I was like, is this broken? I didn't know what the heck it was. Then I noticed that the depth rating on this was less than my other Sea Hunter, which looks exactly the same, just a different color. And what they've done is probably to save some money, which I'd prefer these to be screwed down naturally. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm in agreement with anybody who has something negative to say about that. They should be screw down function pushers. They should be a screw down crown, but it's not. And I thought something was wrong with it. And so I actually thought, and this is why I thought something was wrong with it. If you see my other videos on iridescent coatings, okay? This is the second Invicta watch I've had that when you get this coating on it, I'm assuming they might hit this with some kind of heat to get this to look like this. I'm not 100% sure. Whatever they do to get this coating on this watch, it causes an issue with expansion. I have a hell of a time trying to size these iridescent watches. Every time I get one, this is my second, and I have two now, so I'm probably not going to get another iridescent watch because these are over the top, and I have the two best ones, the two biggest ones Invicta makes. But and it's not just a plating. I have black watches, I have plated Invicta watches, gold, whatever. Something about this iridescence causes these pins to become extremely difficult to remove. And I use a push pin remover, and I'll show you what I use there. And you guys know I always size my own watches, and I tell you guys it's easy to do, and all you need is, now, I mean, you may be a jeweler snob or whatever, but I'm just saying, this is how I do it, and I've had no issues doing it this way. If I can find the damn thing. Bear with me, folks. It's in here somewhere. There it is. I use two tools. I use this, a push pin remover, and a jeweler's hammer. And this has got kind of a plastic side, so once you get that pin all the way down, it won't hurt the finish. And I use this to actually tap the pin out. And so you just put this in the hole where the pin is, follow the arrows. The Sea Hunter does not have arrows. You can take them out from either side, and you tap them out. Well, every other Invicta watch that I have sized, you can maximize this length right here of the pin all the way into the side of the link, and then on the other side you just grab it with some needle nose pliers and it comes right out. The iridescent models, I had to grab it with a vice grip to get that pin out. And so I would, guys, you know, unless you're super comfortable sizing these watches, I really, if you guys decide to make a purchase and get this watch, which I tell you, it's over the top, you'll definitely like it. Unless you're pretty comfortable, I would recommend taking it to a jeweler or if you can get a push pin remover with a longer pin, I'm sure you can. I didn't have one, I was impatient. It was a real pain to bang the pins out. And luckily, I was able to get the pin out, and on one side, I was able to grab it. I grabbed it with a vice grip, and I yanked on it, and I put a lot of force on it. And I was able to get the pin out, and then the other side, I had to start twisting the pin. And as I twisted the pin, it broke. Luckily, there was enough sticking out that I could pull it out, and I got it sized. So definitely